What up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to Philly with Jon Marks. As always, presented by Bet Parks right here on PHLY. Happy Friday morning. If you're watching live, Roku TV, what's going on? If you're on YouTube and you're live chatting with us, as our community does every morning, or you're listening on podcasts or watching on YouTube later, what is up? Good morning, everybody. It is a football Friday as we have the Eagles and the Bengals on Sunday. We haven't really talked a drop of Eagles this week outside of the reaction to the win on Sunday against the Giants. Really, 76ers starting. We spent a lot of time on that. And it's actually a good thing when there isn't a lot to talk about with the football team. And there's not really a lot to talk about with the football team. I like literally getting ready for the headlines every day. Like, all right, well, what's going on with the Eagles? Like, all right, we got injury stuff, but So we'll give you the update on the injuries because there are a couple Eagles that won't be playing or questionable on Sunday. But I was thinking about this yesterday. The Eagles are 4-2. Do we treat the Eagles like they're 4-2? Well, the answer is no, we don't. I don't even think that's really up for debate. They're 4-2. But I would say, and I'll just say me personally, and I'm not saying I'm part of the problem because there isn't a problem, but I probably treat them like they're more 2-4 or 3-3. Because, again, the Eagles are 4-2. The Eagles are a playoff team right now. Now, are they one of the best teams in the NFL or are they one of the best teams in the NFC? No, I don't see that right now. But it's also 6 games into a 17-game schedule. So how they're playing right now will hopefully have nothing to do with how they're playing down the road. More about Jalen Hurts and that coming up in a second. But really, Nick Sirianni has been on the hot seat pretty much the whole year. His team's 4-2. So sometimes if you just take a step back and you're like, all right, let's take a deep breath. Let's separate the emotion. The team's 4-2, and they're in a pretty good spot going forward, but they do have to start playing better football. But I say that with also keeping it real. Keeping it real is this team really hasn't been impressive despite their record. And last year they were 10-1, and I remember saying the same thing, like, man, this team's really not all that good. The offense really isn't all that good. The passing offense really isn't all that good. And after they keep winning games and finding a way to win games, at some point you have to give them credit for winning games, for finding ways to win games. It's like that's what good football teams do. But when they fell apart, it was a lot of, I saw it coming. This is what we were talking about earlier in the season. So you had the Bengals on Sunday, and I think this is very much a close toss-up game. I wouldn't be shocked to see the Eagles lose. I wouldn't be shocked to see the Eagles win. The Bengals are a lot like the Eagles, kind of underachieving. Bengals certainly underachieving because they're under 500, their record, although they have a couple similar wins to what the Eagles have this year. So I very much think this is a game of, well, who can find that last score, that last possession. And I expect a very competitive, maybe not even a well-played game, because the Bengals have the propensity to not play well on defense or to come up small offensively. They scored 17 points in their last game against the Giants. So, and they beat the Browns last week in unimpressive fashion. That was 21-14. So it's not like you're getting a scalding hot Bengals team. Now they will be at home. But really, the issue when it comes to the Eagles, and there's more than one. They're injured a little bit. Nick Sirianni and the offense you worry about. But it's Jalen Hurts. And you're never going to not talk about the quarterback. When they're playing great, they're going to get all the credit. When they're not playing great, they're going to catch most of the shrapnel. And they get analyzed and overanalyzed. And that's the nature of the position. That's why Jalen Hurts makes $255 million, right? I haven't thought he's played well all year. When he doesn't turn the ball over, the Eagles are in good shape to win games because they have a ton of talent on offense. And if he can manage the game. I didn't know we were paying $255 million to a game manager because that's really what Jalen Hurts has been the last year of games, not going back into 2023 because he was pretty good at the beginning or he was pretty good halfway through the year. He's the MVP favorite. But the Eagles also had the most wins, which often happens with the MVP favorite. Anyway, I haven't thought he played great. And he doesn't look comfortable in the offense. He's not a confident thrower. He doesn't look like that he's playing the position at a high level, the actual quarterback position in throwing the football. I could go down and I could look at quarterbacks and I could overanalyze Joe Burrow and all these other guys. I don't think Joe Burrow's played all that great. But I'm not talking about Joe Burrow. I'm talking about Jalen Hurts. So, like, we've had Fran Duffy of PHLY. He's talked about Jalen Hurts and his play and going through the film. Greg Cosell of longtime NFL he's been studying film before anybody really started studying film, before you could go on and get the All-22 or whatever. He's been doing this for decades for NFL films. And he was on the Ross Tucker football podcast yesterday. And this is what he said, not only about Jalen Hurts, but about the Eagles. But here's Greg Cosell on Jalen Hurts.
Difficult offense to watch right now. Jalen Hurts is not playing very good football. They're a running football team. Their defense has played a lot better the last couple of weeks. Now, people can say they beat the Giants and the Browns, and that's fair because those are two of the lesser offenses in the league. But if you just look at what they're doing and how individuals are playing, they're playing better on defense. But the Eagles can't sustain, if they want to be a true playoff team, they can't sustain the way they played last week. Your quarterback has to be a bigger factor. Jalen Hurts, for whatever reason, Ross, and he's played a lot of football games, and you do them in the preseason, so you're familiar with him. For whatever reason, he's just not seeing things clearly right now. Basic concepts he's not seeing, and that really handicaps and hamstrings your offense when your quarterback just can't execute basic concepts, and that's what he's struggling with right now.
Quarterback can't execute basic concepts, and that's what he's struggling with right now. What the hell? What? He can't execute basic concepts? What are we doing? I read something earlier this week that talked about the Kellen Moore offense and the offense the Eagles is running right now. And I've seen a lot of analysts and a lot of film people saying, well, this isn't what he did in Los Angeles with the Chargers. This isn't what they did in Dallas. This is the Jalen Hurts offense. This isn't the Kellen Moore offense. He's calling plays. Maybe there's a couple of wrinkles in there. But this is the Kellen Moore. This isn't the Kellen Moore offense. This is the Jalen Hurts offense. So why is this the Jalen Hurts offense? And then you hear people talk about, well, he's not executing basic concepts. This is a college offense that they're running. This is the same offense they've been running for the last couple of years with some different things. But this is the Jalen Hurts offense. So when we're going to talk about, Kellen Moore and the Kellen Moore offense, no, this is the Jalen Hurts offense that he's struggling with. He's struggling with basic concepts. If you watch the game in real time, and by no means do I have this sharp football eye when it comes to watching games and film and all this other stuff. I'm a football fan. I'm an Eagles fan. I love watching football. And I've watched enough football to know when a quarterback is struggling with just going through his progressions and isn't seeing the field well and is more worried about potential pass rush and jetting from the pocket when he feels uncomfortable or holding the ball too long. These are all things that Jalen Hurts are doing right now. Saquon Barkley was wide open for a touchdown on Sunday. He didn't see him. He was right in the flat on the left-hand side. So what happens when you actually look at the film is you're seeing a lot of Jalen Hurts missing open receivers because he's just not seeing the field well. This isn't something new. Until Jalen Hurts becomes the Jalen Hurts, the quarterback that we saw in 2022 again, where he's confidently delivering the football down the field and he's confident in his throws and he's stepping up and maneuvering well in the pocket, Eagles aren't winning anything. He was a true dual threat. He could kill you with his legs, which you've seen, and he was a weapon with his arm. With the talent they have on this offense right now, that's the Jalen Hurts you need. They don't need to run the ball more. They don't need to have Jalen throw the ball less. I don't want Jalen Hurts throwing the ball 40 times a game regardless. He's not Peyton Manning, right? But he needs to be able to confidently deliver the football, and he's not doing that right now. And with Greg Cosell, who has no axe to grind, he's local. He pays attention to the Eagles, but he watches film from every team all over the country. He goes on with Cowherd Weekly. He's a reputable analyst. When he says something, I pay attention. And when he says that Jalen Hurts can't execute basic concepts on offense, that's an issue. That's an issue. They may win this week. They may finish the season 10-7, maybe 11-6. This team is not winning a Super Bowl unless Jalen Hurts continues to redevelop as a passer. And it's it's not a good thing. We'll talk to Mike Gill coming up, 8:25. He's the dude down at the shore, the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN. I've known Mike for a really long time, and he's excellent. He should actually be working in Philly. He should have a day part up in Philly. He's really, really good. So we'll talk to him about the Eagles and Jalen Hurts because I think he sees the same things that I do with Jalen Hurts. So he's coming up here at 8:25. JP in the place to be joins me again this morning as we were scrambling with technical difficulties right up until literally seconds before we went on the air. But JP got it done as he always does. What's up, JP?
It's always fun. Buenos dias, John. And it's not not only are we tackling our technology, but we're also tackling the Big Ten Network as John and I got a little cardio in this morning and kind of walk a little bit from our parking spots.
And can you actually figure out? So we have a lot. We're in. I'm not going to tell you where the studio is, but we're like really immersed, not in Center City, but like I guess towards Northern Liberties or in. And so I pull up 5:35 this morning. We have a lot, so I go to pull in the lot and. You can't get in the lot because there's a thing blocking it.
Yeah, man.
It's like as of 7 p.m. Thursday, you can't use the lot.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, awesome. So now I'm circling this freaking neighborhood because we're in a neighborhood looking for a spot. Thank God I found one in relative walking distance, and it's a meter, so I have to pay the meter, which whatever.
Feed the meter.
But yeah, but you're like Anthony's. We're cruising in early. There's not a ton of parking here. This is a residential and a business area. It's like kind of a melting pot. But yeah, we got it done. We got a parking spot. We alerted everybody else that they're going to have a problem with the lot. Good job by you.
We just get it done, John. That's all we do here.
That's all we can do. Get it done.
Yeah, man. But I'm not feeling too great about Sunday. It's funny because like all these Sundays, it's probably since like week 3, just got like this uneasy feeling in your stomach. Like you're like, all right, the Eagles can win because like they're talented. But will they win? What will they look like? Will this offense actually put up some numbers? Now, obviously, last week was great. I mean, Saquon played motivated. Now, this week, it's kind of back on Jalen. And one storyline no one's talking about is, like, every time we play, like, we last year, right? You played the Dolphins. Everyone was bringing up Tua and, obviously, 2020 NFL draft class.
Right.
But, obviously, dude, Joe Burrow was pick number 1. And I'm sure if you ask a lot of Eagles fans right now, they would absolutely take Joe Burrow over Jalen Hurts.
I would hope so.
And yeah, you would hope so, right? But
he's underachieving too. They have a lot of talent on offense.
It's true, but like they don't. I feel like they're going through some injuries. They have some weaknesses as well. I feel like overall our roster is stronger, and Jalen Hurts is, dude. If Joe Burrow had what the Eagles have right now, dude, the Eagles would be the top. They would be undefeated right there with the Lions. I truly believe that. With the offensive line he has.
Offensive line.
The weapons, especially on the outside. Of course, dude, he's got the best running back in the league. Defense, we'll get to that in a second, right? But like this offense, dude, he would have flying numbers right now.
Also, don't dismiss good NFL franchises are huge for a team, right? Like the Bengals are one of the worst franchises in the league.
Terrible.
Joe Burrow actually came in there, and he was like, not many players can come in and be a difference maker in a bad franchise like the Bengals. LeBron did it with the Cavs. As soon as he leaves the Cavs, they're dog poop again.
They're back to the Cavs,
right? And like Joe Burrow had that effect with the Bengals, but yeah, it's hard to have confidence. We'll talk to Mike coming up at 8:25 about it. Let's get to the headline, sponsored by Glatt Hair Restoration. Bald is now optional if you want to improve how you look and how you feel about yourself. Glatt Hair has the right treatment for you. Regain your confidence. Visit glatthairmctr.com or call 610-980-4000 to get started. Glatt Hair Restoration. And listen, if you're looking to keep up with everything with Philly sports and beyond, PHLY Daily, delivered directly to your inbox every morning. And this isn't a wimpy newsletter. It is awesome. Rich Hoffman Jr., he puts in the time and the effort putting this together for you.
Yes, sir. You're only the best here.
PHLY Daily. Everything you need to know in Philly sports and beyond. And it's free. All you got to do is subscribe. Go to allphly.com to subscribe to that. All right, Thursday Night Football. Rams beat the Vikings 30-20. Vikings, figure this out, JP. The Vikings go from undefeated to 5-2 in 5 days. They lose on Sunday in a close one to the Lions, a nail biter, and then they lose last night in Los Angeles. Now they're 5-2 on the season. They're down 8 points. Minute 40 left. Sam Darnold gets sacked in the end zone for a safety, but he's clearly taken down by the face mask, and it's not called. A blatant miss by the refs, and that sealed the game for the Rams. Matt Stafford, 4 passing touchdowns. Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp returned from injury to play last night. Nacua had 7 catches, 106 yards. Cooper Kupp, a touchdown in his return. Demarcus Robinson, if you had him in your starting fantasy lineup, your team must suck. But he had 2 touchdowns, 2 catches, 2 touchdowns for the Rams last night.
So I don't do fantasy, man. How do you predict that?
You don't. There's nobody that had him starting last night. Justin Jefferson had 8 catches and 115 yards in defeat for the Vikings. All right, so Rams are 3-4 on the season. They're a sneaky team. Just when I'm ready to say they're cooked, they go on a little bit of a run. So the Eagles have them in Los Angeles, Sunday Night Football, November 24th. In a matter of a week, this game goes from being like, yeah, Eagles will probably lose that one to, Cooper Kupp's back, Puka Nakua's back, Matt Stafford looked good last night. They can run the ball. All of a sudden, that's not going to be an easy game come end of November.
It's funny because obviously we have Baldy on the Gargano show every morning, and like he always raves the Rams for one reason in particular. Sean McVay. I mean, Sean McVay is obviously one of the best coaches right now in the NFL. And dude, it's funny because everyone thought they were dead in the water, but look what happens. And also too, John, all the trade rumors, right? Like Cooper Kupp was in that. Matt
It
Stafford.
got loud this week.
Yeah, the trade rumors were heavy this week, and here come the Rams. They just said, all right, you know what? That's fine. We'll go out there and we'll show what we got. And that was a really good performance. And on the other side of it, I mean, it's a week-to-week league, John. People will figure you out. And Sam Darnold was experiencing a nice little surprise at the beginning of the year, but teams are just going to start figuring you out. And the Rams were just hungry, man. You could tell last night they were hungry.
They needed that. No, you're right. Week-to-week NFL, the team that needs it. They have one win.
Mm-hmm.
Teams that need it, or they have 2. Did they win last week? They might have had 2 going in last. But anyway, Vikings are still a good team, but that was a good win by the Rams. All right, one other thing here. The Darnold face mask. And the ref said, I didn't see it. The other umpire, the umpire that's supposed to see it as well, he didn't see it. This is the type of play that should be reviewed every single time. There's no reason not to be able to review this play. There should be an official that's watching the game real time, live, to where they see it, or it's like, hang on a second, slow the game down. Let's take a look. Oh, yeah, that's a clear face mask. And they should be able to throw a penalty flag. I mean, it's clear. It's not holding. It's not something where it could be subjective. Like pass interference, a lot of times it's was it really enough contact or whatever? And it was clear as day. That play right there should be a 15-yard face mask. It should not be a safety. That ends the game right there because the Rams get the ball. They get 2 points. They're up 2 scores. The Vikings probably aren't winning that game as it is. They're down 8. Way back in their own territory. But still, like they should get 15 yards and a first down. They should not have to give the ball back. Review it every time. Every single time you should be able to review that.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I mean, dude, we're literally watching this on repeat. It's clear as day it is a face mask, but that's unfortunately that's the way the cookie crumbled last night, and the Rams got the lucky bounce, man.
They did. Refs are going to miss calls, but if you have technology that shows it, what does it matter?
Yeah.
And it shouldn't take, you don't need to stop the game. You just have them slow the game down a little bit. The official in the booth says, oh, that's a clear face mask. You throw the freaking flag. It's not that difficult. All right, Eagles, Bengals Sunday. Dallas Goedert not likely to play. He's got that hamstring. Becton has a concussion. I don't think he's even been out at practice.
Right.
So I don't think he's going to play. But Zach Bond did get back on the practice field. So they were worried about him. He had a shoulder injury. They were worried about him not playing. He practiced in full yesterday, so he looks like he's going to be good to go. Sixers in Toronto tonight against the Raptors. No Joel Embiid, no Paul George. They're still 4.5-point favorites.
I think we got a Paul George update. I think they said he'd miss at least the next 2 games.
Next week's probably at some point next week going to be back.
It'd be exciting, man. Excited to see him all out there with that uniform.
Agreed. Flyers back on the ice tomorrow against the Wild at the Wells Fargo Center. The good old matinee, the 1 p.m. Flyers game.
I can't wait. And by the way, you'll see me, Bill Matz, and Charlie O'Connor for that pre-post-game show tomorrow. So definitely come and hang out. But
are you doing pre and post with them?
I'm doing pre and post, man. We don't stop here, brother. We keep going, man. But,
that's awesome.
But we're getting close to 10 again, man. Tomorrow, if they lose, that'll be 7. That's 3 away from that 10 spot that Flyers fans dread. We've seen way too much here in Philly over the last 3 years.
Well, hopefully they get off the schneid.
Yes.
For you. World Series game 1 tonight in LA. Garrett Cole, Jack Flaherty. Dodgers on the series are -125, Yankees +105. So a fairly, not quite a coin flip, but the Dodgers having home field gives them a little bit of a notch up. Give me your pick right now. What do you like?
First, I'll say this. Although I do hate this matchup, I think this is really good for baseball. There's a lot of people who have eyes on this World Series. And listen, it's the World Series. It's always going to be big. But, I mean, it's the Dodgers and it's the Yankees. But I do have the Dodgers. I'll say 7. I think it's going to go 7 here. I got Dodgers in 7.
I like the Yankees in 6.
Yankees in 6. Dude, you have any Yankees neighbors in your neighborhood?
Nope.
Oh, thank God, man.
Well, you're Jersey, so I can see you haven't. Well, actually, no. I have one of my the guys at the bus stop is from New York, so he's a Yankee fan. But he's also like I'm like, hey, yo, that was a great game last night. And he's like, huh? And I'm like, oh, so I follow the Yankees closer than you do. All right, so that doesn't really. But he grew up a Yankee fan or whatever. All right, finally, more media for Jason Kelce. Do we need it? Well,
man.
we're probably going to be getting it. According to a report, ESPN's talking to Kelce about a late night show.
What?
Yes, the specifics are still in the works, but it wouldn't be a highlight or recap show, more like a late night program featuring athletes and celebrities.
Hopefully he's not taking Jay Leno's spot.
No. Jay Leno. Produced by NFL Films, licensed to ESPN. They would air it 5 straight Friday nights starting in January, kind of as a test run. And the hope would be the show would create clips that go viral over the weekend on platforms like YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. So they don't care about the actual show. They care about taking the content. This is what they're doing now. This is what we're going to start to do. And taking it and putting it back out in shorter form and you get 1 million views on some minute-long BS that Jason does. ESPN doesn't care. They got 1 million views on it.
Dude.
So
realistically, how much like that In the Heights podcast, dude? I see those clips all the freaking time. But realistically, how many people actually listen to that full show on a week-to-week basis?
I guess a lot of people do. I've never listened to a full show.
Definitely not as much as their clips, though. Their clips go crazy online.
But their clips do very well. And if you've a good editor and you put out good enough content, those guys do, yeah, you can get a lot of people. So it's the same. It's obviously the same template for what they want to do here. So, all right, well, there you go. Mike Gill's going to join us coming up here in 1 second. But let's talk about my Uncle Jamie, Central City Toyota. That is correct. See my Uncle Jamie and his amazing staff, Central City Toyota. How about this? In the heart of University City, 55 years on Chestnut Street, largest service and parts dealership in the city of Philadelphia. So if you're working in the city, drop your car off to get serviced. They drop you off at your office. They'll pick you back up, take you back to your car while you work. All right. Or they provide a pickup and delivery service. You have to make an appointment for that. But they will literally come and get your car, service it, and then drop it back off. CentralCityToyota.com for that. If you're working in the city, it's a no-brainer, right? Also, if you're looking for an upgrade right now, amazing selection of certified vehicles. I've been a Central City Toyota customer for nearly 20 years. Right now, I have a Highlander. My wife has a Sienna. Yes, a minivan. And it's a hybrid. It's amazing. And they have a one-price approach at Central City Toyota. There's no pricing games. Everything's transparent because they know they make a deal with you. You're going to be a repeat customer, and you're going to keep coming back and coming back and coming back. Again, 55 years on Chestnut Street. You can only do that if you know what you're doing. Amazing selection of certified vehicles. And there are cars under $12,000. So if you're on a budget, you need to get a ride right now. Get down there. All right? And again, it's family with me. This is my uncle. So ask for Uncle Jamie. He will take great care of you. CentralCityToyota.com is the website. Right there on 48th and Chestnut. CentralCityToyota.com. Go see my Uncle Jamie and tell him if his picks are bad because he makes college picks every week with us. All right, Bet Park. I was on the Bet Parks app this morning. It's one of my first stops. Sometimes I don't even make it off the toilet without being on the Bet Parks app. Eagles, it's still at 2.5. So I've been saying all week, this game's going to 1.5 or 1. It's at 2.5 right now. I would certainly buy right now. If you like the Eagles in this game, take the 2.5 points. If it's a close one, and even if they lose, you could still win. And a lot of things going on right now in the Bet Parks app. Tonight, 76ers, 4.5-point favorites in Toronto. If you like them to bounce back after getting smoked by the Bucks on opening night. World Series, we mentioned before, on the Bet Parks app right now. Dodgers minus 125, Yankees plus 105. My pick for the MVP, Garrett Cole, a cool plus 3,000, a sprinkle. Put $10 on it, you win $300 if he wins the MVP starting game 1 tonight. The one and only sportsbook app I would ever recommend is Bet Parks and the Bet Parks Sportsbook app and online casino. Right now, an amazing offer. New users that download the Bet Parks online casino app and sportsbook get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. All right? BetParks.com for details. Your casino bonus must be wagered, and you must be 21 and in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, Ohio, or Michigan. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, well, the Eagles, are they 4-2? I had to actually double check to see that the Eagles were 4-2. Yes, the Eagles are 4-2 in Cincinnati this weekend. To discuss, to dissect, is my good friend down at the shore. His name is Mike Gill. Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN, 2 to 6 p.m. So if you're down the shore, they're the home of the Eagles. They're the home of the 76ers. You can catch him every day. He has no PTO. He's not allowed time off from the station. He's always required to work. Mike Gill joins us. What's up, brother? Oh, hang on, Mike. We're having technical problems. No audio. This happened with Uncle Jamie like last week or something too. We'll get that figured out.
Yeah. Unmute yourself there, Mike. Is it muted?
I don't know. Let's see. And Mike is a handsome man.
Yeah. Maybe unplug your headphones there.
Unplug the whatever. All right. Well, you can take them off, and we'll see if we can.
No worries.
We can get it to work here. But this is one of these swing games when you look at a schedule, right? So when you do the wins and the losses, when you start the season, there's always the game that you expect to win but you lose, and then there's the game that you go into it and you say, well, they're probably going to lose that game, and they win, right? So far, beating the Packers, you lost to the Falcons. A lot of people didn't see that coming. You were at home. Good. But so we have Mike Gill. Are you there, Mike Gill?
Yeah, I got you.
What are you doing, man?
I don't use this laptop very often, and I had to it was a whole story, but I figured it out. Here I am. I do take too much PTO. My bosses hate because I have so much time off. So you were lying on that one.
I just figured you didn't take PTO because I've never tuned in and you haven't been working. So,
you probably tune in. I do work hard. Yes. Thank you very much. You probably tune in during the big times of the year, Eagles season, Phillies, playoffs, NBA, but I do take a lot of time off. But that being said, I'm ready for the Christmas season so I can take more time off.
as a lot of us in radio like to do during the winter book. All right. So you texted me, I think it was on Tuesday, you were watching the show.
Yeah.
We were talking about Jalen Hurts. And it really Jalen's not, he's not trash. He hasn't been terrible so far this year. But if you came down from Mars and you knew the NFL, but you didn't know who Jalen Hurts was or what he had done or that he was in the Super Bowl 2 years ago or that he's a $255 million quarterback, you would think he's a guy that's making maybe $15 million a year because that's what moderate quarterbacks make. And he's kind of just playing okay so far this year. And that's really he's struggling with – Greg Cosell said yesterday, I don't know if you heard the comments, Mike. He said that he's struggling or Jalen Hurts can't execute basic concepts. Basic concepts. Yeah. What do you see when you watch Jalen play?
So we talk a lot about this week. There was a comment that Dan Orlovsky made. I don't know if you saw this about the RPO and how it's changed with the illegal man downfield. And what I'm watching right now is this illegal man downfield in 2022. It was not a point of emphasis to call it. Last year, it became a point of emphasis of calling that. So basically, his explanation is you have Jason Kelce and Landon Dickerson. They're 5 yards down the field engaging with a linebacker. That linebacker thinks it's a run play, and bang, double slant behind them. Two guys wide open because the linebacker's engaged. Well, now they're calling that illegal man down the field. So those linebackers, the illusion of the run is not there as much anymore. It's two reasons why the RPO is not working as much as it used to. And the pass option in that RPO has kind of been taken away altogether because now he's seeing linebackers that he wasn't seeing before, and he just refuses to throw over the field. And then the second part of that, which I texted you, is everything he does looks like it's in slow motion. It just looks like he's in quicksand when he's running. It looks like he's processing in slow motion. He's kind of looking, patting, and then he's out. And I think as we've all seen, as soon as he leaves that pocket, this play's over. He's got nothing. And this is documented in some numbers. I work for one of the ESPN affiliates, so I get the ESPN stat sheets for every game. He's completing 18% of his passes out of the pocket. I mean, wow. That's a dreadful number. So I think it's a definitive, you look at the Lions play. Would you say A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are any worse than Jamison Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown?
No, they're better. They're better.
Right. They've got Gibbs and Montgomery. You've got Barkley. Okay. Even if you like their talent, it's not exponentially. Their offensive line's very good. Yours is kind of good. It's not as good as you would like. The one problem is their quarterback is making every play. Your guy's not. And I think that's where we are. Why is this offense? They've had some injuries, yes. But ultimately, I think he's processing slow. He's moving slow. And there you have an offense that's not fun to watch. That's why you get demoted off of Monday Night Football. That's why you get or Sunday Night Football. That's why you get demoted to the 1 o'clock game on a Sunday because you're not fun to watch.
Yeah, the dreaded first 15 plays that they script. Are they not scripting them? Remember with Andy, Mike, we used to complain that he couldn't do anything outside of the first 15. He was great at scripting the plays, but then once you actually had to get into a flow of a game and you're making in-game adjustments, he struggled. This is the old Andy Reid. I don't think he does this anymore, obviously.
Right.
But like, is there not a script where you can get the team going? Maybe run a little bit of pace, because like sometimes you will have things like this happen and it's just dumb luck. At this point, it's no, you're bad coming out in the first quarter because either the coach isn't doing a good job calling plays, the game plan isn't there, or the quarterback struggles early, which feels like there's a combination of everything. Like if you go back and you look at the first drives of a couple games, it's like hand off to Saquon, incomplete on third down. Or 50-50 ball for AJ, incomplete, hand off to Saquon, incomplete on third down. It's too predictable. Why not be a little bit creative early? Or why not just say, you know what? We're going to run the ball down their freaking throat, and we're going to have that mentality going into a game. It's like they're not sure how they want to get off this schneid.
Well, and I think you talked about it earlier this week on one of your shows, was like you can't just run the ball every week and think you're going to be a Super Bowl team. You might be a really good team, but as Baltimore has figured out, you can't just be a one-trick. You've got to be able to do something else. And it can't be just, hey, let's go in the schoolyard, A.J. Brown, go 40 yards down the field. I'm going to chuck one up, and you're going to go win it every time that we need it. That's just not a sustainable way to win football games. They have moments where I say nobody can tackle in this league. Nobody can tackle. Just throw the ball to A.J. Brown, 5 yards, 6 yards, curl, slant, and let him make people miss. I mean, the worst thing that happens, he gets tackled on the spot for 5 yards. Like, that should be a bang, bang, bang play just to get some fluidity in your offense. I talk about a lot on my show about they got Barkley, they got Brown, they got Smith, John. But the star of this team needs to be the offensive line. And if they utilize their offensive line the way they should, the stars that you have will become bigger stars because everything will be open for them as you beat teams down up front and then use these opportunities. I don't know. It just looks like a disjointed mess. And this is like a chicken or the egg. Is Kellen Moore not a good play caller, or does he have plays that he can't use because his quarterback can't execute them properly? That's a problem.
Yeah, I forget who it was that wrote it. It might have been regardless, it was this, and you've seen a lot of talk about this. This isn't Kellen Moore's offense. This is Jalen Hurts' offense. This is the same offense they've been running. It just has different wrinkles and a different play caller. It's the same college offense they've been running. And the RPO, guess what happens after you do something and you do it well? Defensive coordinators and their staff spend the offseason trying to solve you.
That's a big thing. In 2022, this guy, the Eagles were in a terrible situation. I've talked a lot about this, and I don't think it's been talked about that much. Maybe I don't listen enough. But he had a mediocre at best season in 2021. They got to the playoffs. He was okay. He comes back. He's in the MVP conversation the whole year. He almost wins the Super Bowl. Well, the Eagles then approach him about a contract. They didn't take into account his first year of play. They only took into account the second year because, he's not going to play on that deal. So They give him this deal where he's the highest paid quarterback in the league. And you're like, well, what about the first year he played? You're just saying he's only the guy in the second year. That's it. The first guy never existed. So they give him this money. And then all these other teams are saying, well, wait a second. What was he doing in that year that made him come out of nowhere and become an MVP candidate? Let's take that away from him and see what else he has. Well, right now, what else does he have? I know I said – or somebody said to me in the summer of the year 2022, hey, Jalen Hurts has a good year. you might have to pay him $25 million. And I'm thinking, $25 million for Jalen Hurts? Like, that was incomprehensible coming
no
off
way.
the year. Yeah, when they were 9-8. And then he takes it to the Super Bowl, blah, blah, and then he makes, what was he making, $45 million? But, like, the thought of $25 million for him almost knocked me over. But that's the going rate for quarterbacks. And the problem is right now, your quarterback is not earning his check.
Yeah, I mean, there was real progression in 2022. He was a confident quarterback.
Absolutely.
He was confident in the pocket. He moved around in the pocket. He proved he can beat you with his arm. He didn't have to be reliant on his legs. And then he could use his legs as a real weapon because he wasn't relying on it. Now I feel like we've gone back in time. We've gone back in the future where fans run the ball. There you go. This team's got to run the ball to win. We had to get Jalen.
There was a lot of things
what are we talking about.
Johnny, there was a lot of things in 2022, though, that defenses we're still trying to figure out. 2 years later, that offense has become it's like John Gannon runs the Vic Fangio defense. And then people saw this Vic Fangio. It was like the Tampa 2. Everybody was doing it, and then we figured it out. And there's no more Tampa 2s except for the guys who are really, really good at it. Teams figure you out. It takes a little while, but okay, everyone runs this spread with these gimmicky little RPOs. Okay, we've watched it a bunch of times. We've figured it out. You got to do something else. So what did defenses do? They went and put 225-pound linebackers on the field. So now these offenses are saying, fine, we'll run the ball at you. Have that guy try to tackle my guy and have fun with that. So that's where the chess match begins. Can the Eagles, add? They got to add another wrinkle or two to the pass game, though. The run game, we know they can run, and they're adding. You got the fullback. They're doing a little bit of extra stuff in the run game. They're under center, running the ball. But this should be, with Saquon Barkley, they should be able to play action teams to death with Barkley and Brown and Smith and Goddard. I mean, it should be a nightmare for defenses. Instead, yikes.
Yeah. But they are 4-2. Sometimes I have to remind myself, Mike Gill.
All right, so let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. We played this game the other day. They're 4-2. Do they feel 4-2? In other words, if I throw a team out at you, are there definitive teams that you say, yes, they're better than that team? And I think we came up with maybe 4 teams that are definitively better than them. Maybe 5.
Okay. Otherwise, it's an argument. It's a good game. Yeah, I mean,
that's the whole league is the point.
Yeah. Yep. That's true. Yeah, like you can obviously say the Lions, the 49ers are struggling. I don't know, like maybe they make a run to get into the playoffs, but those injuries are real. And if McCaffrey's not back, Ayuk's gone for the season now. Purdy threw 3 interceptions. Maybe he's taking a step back. No, you're right. Outside of the Chiefs and the Lions, I mean, the Ravens maybe, but they started the season off poorly. Lamar's playoff track record is his playoff track record. Right? So are you expecting him to change that in the playoffs? I mean, until he does it, I'm not. Right? So
right. Yep.
It's interesting. All right. The Mike Gill Show. You can follow him on social media at Mike Gill Show. You can stream him. It's the Sports Bash with Mike Gill, 97.3 ESPN down at the shore. So if you're taking a trip down the shore for one of the weekends, I know Ocean City closed down Wonderland a couple weekends ago. I have, you know what, Mike Gill, I would always load those tickets up because I was told they never expire. So I have like $130 in credits at home for an amusement park in Ocean City that just closed.
Yeah, and they quickly painted over everything. It is gone, man. There's like they painted over the doors and the walls. It's completely like desolate now. I mean, the rides are still inside, but yeah, that was a big news deal down here, man. The Wonderland is closing, but the weather's been outstanding. I was in Stone Harbor. Where do you vacation down here? What are you, an Avalon guy?
Ocean City.
Ocean City. Okay, so I was in Stone Harbor last weekend. We hit up the Avalon Seafood. There's a ton of stuff to do down here, and the weather's been unbelievable. It's like, why would you leave your shore house?
Yeah, best time of year, September, October down the shore when the weather's like this. For sure.
Totally. It's awesome. I'm actually making my way up to Philly this weekend. Is the weather going to be all right up there?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I think like cold in the morning. I got my daughter has cheerleading. We have a softball game like at the same time. So yeah, I think the weather's supposed to be good. There you go.
Nice.
Well, Mike Gill, always appreciate it, brother. Good to have you on the show. We'll talk again soon.
Yeah, man. Anytime. I'll talk to you.
All right, there he is, Mike Gill, the Mike Gill Show. At Mike Gill Show on Twitter. we're on the same page. If maybe all right, so we'll do this before we get out of here. We'll play the same game where we can say like, no, that team is definitely better than the Eagles. All right, and then we have our locks coming up here in a second. Okay. Let's talk about True Mark Financial. So I would like when I talk about a lot of when we partner with companies, right? A lot of times I'm a customer. Like with Dr. Glatt, I'm a customer. All right, with Bet Parks, I use the Bet Parks app. I know everybody up there. I'm a part of the Bet Parks family. True Mark Financial, I am now officially a member of their family. That is correct. Do you have the picture that you can pop up there for?
Yeah, keep. I gotcha.
Yeah. So I am and now also a small businessman, and I'm not just a small man. I am, but like I needed to open up a business checking account, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go up to True Mark. They have a branch in Trooper. It was on my way home. Boom. And I was just blown away with just how welcoming they were. And there it is right there. That's me. I'm holding my all the audio, people listening on the podcast, I am standing in front of the True Mark Financial Credit Union sign at the Audubon location, and I'm holding my folder. See that?
I like that.
I look pretty handsome there.
There you go, John.
So yeah, I went in, and believe me, I'm not a business person, right? So I had a lot of questions. I didn't know if I had all the paperwork I needed. So they walked me through everything. Donna got me going. And by the way, like they had no heads up that like, hey, Jon Marks is coming in, blah, 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 blah. I just went in, and they were so nice to me and so helpful. We got it done. I had a couple of things where it's like, we kind of need this and that. They got it for me. We got it done. And I got the business checking account open. So now I'm ready to roll. It's amazing. Wow. And so yesterday, the branch manager who was there that day, Mary Ellen, reached out and she said, oh my God, I didn't realize you were in. I knew that Donna was working with a customer. I didn't realize that it was Jon Marks, formerly a WIP. And I said, yes, that was me. It's like, oh my God, you should have said, So I'm going to go back in and I'm going to visit again. But that's just the kind of people that you're dealing with. It really does. I've done plenty of banking in my life. And a lot of times you go in and you don't get the same people that are in there all the time. It doesn't feel like a family. True Mark Financial, you could tell, very close-knit group in there. And I'm so happy with everything. So if you're talking about business, personal, maybe you're in the market for a mortgage, I'm telling you, you want personalized care, True Mark Financial is going to take care of that for you. So get into your local True Mark Financial. True Mark Financial is federally insured by the NCUA and is an equal opportunity lender. For more info, visit truemark.com/PHLYITY. And I got on the mobile app right away.
Wow,
boom.
Look at you.
Uh-huh.
You're a little millennial there. I like it.
I got my business debit card. I can actually make business transactions. I feel like an adult. I'm adulting with True Mark Financial, JP. All right, and that's a good picture, right?
Yeah,
right
it definitely is.
All right, so here's JP. What do you got for us, JP?
Of course. Well, John just got done telling you about a local banking company that you can trust, and I'm going to tell you about a little hardware store that we can trust, and that's our friends over at Ace Hardware. It's the weekend time, boys. And look, I know we all want to watch football, right? A lot of good college football games. Obviously, Bird Sunday, NFL slate keeps us all really busy, but we cannot forget our honey to-do list, because I know, like me, you guys are probably getting in the doghouse because we're watching sports and doing things on the weekend, and the wife's like, I know John's in the same boat. The wife's like, hun, we gotta clean up the front lawn. Hun, we gotta paint these walls. I've been wanting these new floors. And so, yeah, we need our local neighborhood hardware store. And that's Ace Hardware. Whatever you need to get the job done, they have it, including the person to fix it. Because look, let's be honest. And we had the conversation yesterday with Pat Gallen. I don't know what it is, but us media guys, we are not handy, okay?
We're losers.
We don't like wrenches. We don't like hammers. None of that, all right? But we do need to get stuff fixed, right? So we always rely on our friends over at Ace Hardware. So what are you waiting for? All right, don't wait any longer. Don't let the football season go by and let those things just kind of crumble. Make sure you guys are getting it done. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at www.acehardwarehomeservices.com and get your next project started today. Walk into your local Ace Hardware store, let them know that PHLY Sports sent you. And we, of course, as always, want to give a big shout out, a big thank you to our friends over at Ace Hardware.
Thank you very much, JP.
Yes,
all right,
sir.
before we give our locks, and do you have Tyler's locks? Did he send them to you?
He did not send me anything.
That's all right. We'll put them up on social media. He's been I don't know what his record was last week. He was 11 games over 500 in his
So
in
I
his picks,
hear.
which is crazy.
I like it.
All right, so which team is definitively better than the Eagles? Let's do it right now, JP. I'm going to start in the AFC.
All right.
The Bills.
Ooh, that's a great question.
I say yes.
I'll go yes. Yes.
Nobody else in the AFC East.
Mark Cooper definitely helps this cause as well.
And when you take away expectations and people sleep on you because you lost a lot of talent and you got rid of your star wide receiver and your team looks different, they need to run the ball more, and that's what they've done since Joe Brady took over as offensive coordinator. I'm bullish on the Bills. The Ravens.
Yes. Oh yeah, dude. That's what I feel. I feel like that's we're trying to be, right? Because like you have obviously Lamar and Derrick Henry, who are obviously huge threats in the running game, and we have Jalen and Saquon, but I just feel like we're getting in our own way.
And Lamar's throwing for 4 or 5 touchdowns in a game, and Jalen.
And real quick, because Mike brought up a really good point about like they don't know what to do on offense. I think that right now, to fix the pass game, unfortunately, you're going to have to run the ball. Unfortunately, right now, you're going to have to run the ball. That's going to have to open up the passing game. I mean, you saw Ben Van Sumeren last week line up at fullback. Some of those type of...
It was effective.
It was. But what is your biggest weapon right now? I know it's AJ, but realistically, your biggest weapon is Saquon Barkley. You have to let that be the focal point. It's going to open everything else up.
So, and by the way, your identity can be, we're going to run the football and Jalen Hurts is going to beat you. But Jalen Hurts needs to beat you.
Yeah.
So I don't need Jalen Hurts throwing the ball more than 35 times a game or 30 times a game. I'm not asking for Peyton Manning throwing it in the 50s, all right? But he's got to be a weapon in the passing game. He's got to be able to make every throw.
John, I don't know if he can be that guy though. I mean, dude, he's missing wide open guy, and like it's like he's just not seeing it. It's not like he's throwing it's inaccurate. He's just not seeing it, and it's just crazy.
He's not comfortable back there. All right, the Stillers.
Yes.
I say no.
I do. I just think overall, and I mean, I know. Listen, Jalen Hurts probably better than what they have over there at quarterback. I just love the way they play, and also too, the coaching is a huge advantage over us.
They certainly have an identity. We'll see what they look like at the end of the year, but that's debatable. The Ravens and the Bills, I would say, is certainly not debatable. Texans, like,
they don't.
they're
not as dominant as I thought they would be.
Year. I don't know. That's a close one. The Chiefs, yes,
Chiefs.
Nobody else in the AFC West. Commanders,
dude.
Quarterback's hurt.
This is gonna be interesting. Yeah, just for that reason, I'll go Birds right now. But
I will not go Birds. I will call it a toss-up. But if Daniels is healthy, I would say Commanders right now.
Unfortunately, yeah.
We're not going to say Cowboys right now. Lions, yes. Vikings? Vikings is a yes for me. Definitively, yes.
Yeah, I'm going to go Vikings, yeah. Defense is better. They have
the
solid
defense
weapons.
is legit. Sam Darnold had 2 touchdowns passes last night. He's not throwing interceptions.
Darnold's not killing them either. He's playing really good ball.
Packers, the Eagles beat them, so I can't say that. Bears, no. Bucks?
Not anymore. It's a huge loss.
Just don't let them play them head-to-head and they'll lose. But nobody in the South. And then anybody in the NFC? Niners are under 500. Rams are under 500.
I mean, realistically, other than maybe the Lions, I can't think of anybody else better.
Not a lot of teams.
It's not. I mean, it's
a lot of teams that are right here, and it's a matter of projecting where you go from here, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do you expect by the end of the season? By the end of the season, Eagles have to be playing. They have to be better in the passing game. Jalen Hurts has to be better.
Yeah, I agree.
It's interesting, the reaction to Jalen Hurts in this city. I believe a lot of fans are babying him, where we should be treating him like he is expected to be an MVP-type candidate every year.
Yeah.
Donovan McNabb received the treatment of, hey, you need to win the Super Bowl. You need to be an MVP-type candidate every year. Let's treat him more like, not exactly like Donovan, because I think a lot of it with some of it with Donovan was a little bit too much because he was a good player and won a lot of games. But listen, you're allowed to have expectations that Jalen Hurts can no, Jalen Hurts went out and won the game with his arm. I mean, look at the friggin' wide receivers he has. I mean, Jesus.
You got to be real with yourself. And like, if you've watched this team, right, and you, especially this offense, and you said to yourself, and you didn't say to yourself that Jalen Hurts wasn't the problem. I mean, like, what are you watching? I mean, the simple fact that we don't have any throws over the middle of the field, it says it all. I mean, we just said, this guy cannot see the field correctly. He's not throwing over the middle of the field. We're still relying heavy on that run game. And unfortunately, John, I think going forward, you're still going to have to rely on that running game because he just needs as many people in the box to kind of let those weapons do what they do. I mean, look, A.J. Brown, one-on-one, right? He's going to go to A.J. Brown. He's going to do that lob throw that he loves so much.
He does the 50-50 balls.
That's what he does, man, at least for
well,
right
that's not
now.
an offense.
That's not.
It's a good weapon.
It's not sustainable. I'll say that.
No, it's not.
Because once you go up against those good defenses and those good corners,
it's harder to do.
That's right.
All right, let me give you my my locks of the week, and I don't have my record. I know I believe I went 2-2 last week, so I was off on the Eagles for the first time. But I like the Eagles to win the game, 21-20. I'll take the 2.5 points. This is a field goal game to me, not a high scoring game. I think the Eagles. I think the Eagles are a better team by a little bit. So I'll take the Eagles 21-20, and I'll take the 2.5 points. All right, Packers and Jags. Packers on the road against the Jags. The Jags last week really they went behind 10-0 early against the Patriots, and I'm like, oh, may not even make it out of this game without getting fired. Well, they went on a run and they ended up winning the game and blowing out the Patriots. But the Packers are a good team, and they're 4.5 favorites on the road against the Jags. I'll take the Packers -4 over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Steelers and Giants. We were just talking about the Steelers. Steelers are at home. Giants are coming off that loss against the Eagles. And when you look at a team, I'm like, all right, what's the response to a bad loss? What's the response to a big win? And the Steelers had a big win, and Russell Wilson looked good. The Giants got crushed, embarrassed by the Eagles. Daniel Jones got benched. I didn't like how Daniel Jones handled it after the game. He said he didn't understand it, and Brian Daboll told him, but you could tell that he felt a certain way about getting benched. Yo, dude, sometimes when you suck and you haven't been good, the coach is going to put another player in to try to get a spark. So Daniel Jones is back starting this week. I just think that a game like that where he gets benched, now it's in his head. He tries to do too much, and he's cooked. And that Steelers defense is legit. Take Pittsburgh -6. Chargers -7.5 over the Saints. The Saints right now. When the Eagles played the Saints, it was like, oh man, they're really good. The Saints aren't very good, especially with that Derek Carr, or even with Derek Carr. So I'll take the Chargers -7.5 over the Saints. Did you have a couple games there, JP, in the place to be?
Let's bring them up here.
Oh, so you even have the graphic up there. Look at that.
There you go.
I like that. All right, JP.
Here we go.
All right.
So first up, Falcons and Bucks. I like the Falcons over the Buccaneers here. We talked about those receivers being out are huge. That was definitely Baker Mayfield's security blanket. So give me the Falcons over the Bucks there. That NFC South, by the way, John. Wow, that now wide open again here. Obviously, we can eliminate the Panthers, but between the Falcons, Saints, and Saints also lost a lot of big pieces too. So
yeah, Rasheed Rice, or not Rasheed Rice, the wide receiver.
Yeah,
what's his name?
Snead.
Yeah, he's out for the season, or he's
That's
on
a big
IR.
loss, man.
Yeah.
So I give me the Falcons. The battle of the rookies. Obviously, Jaden McDaniels is still up in the air for Sunday, but I still like the Bears in this one. Give me the Bears here. -2.5 there on the spread. And then I have the Bills over the Seahawks. It's going to be tough for the Bills going cross country. And Seattle, it's interesting because they're like a week-to-week team. You don't know what to expect from them. But going cross country, I obviously love the Bills there in the away situation. And then our game, man. Don't feel too confident about this, but I think the Birds squeak it out here with a little field goal, Jake Elliott field goal there. And they get the win on the road in Cincinnati. Dude, I have some horror stories playing in Cincinnati. Obviously, my favorite one is Donovan McNabb not knowing that you can tie in an actual football game. And then, of course, the last time Carson Wentz got battered in Cincinnati back in 2016, his rookie year. So don't have great memories in Cincinnati for the Birds.
Yeah, the Cincinnati game where they was that the last time? When did they tie? Or Doug essentially? It was after that, right?
2020. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Doug
too.
essentially punted and it was like, okay, I'll take the tie. And people went crazy about it. But I actually thought it was the right move because if you would have went for it on 4th down and not gotten it, you would have given the Bengals a chance to win the game. And at that point, I didn't have confidence in the Eagles winning the game. So people are like, yeah, but you're playing for a tie. Well, Yeah, it's better than losing.
Yeah,
A tie can get you in the playoffs if you get a tie over a loss. So I actually thought it was the right move.
By the way, I have this fun clip there that you can hear the sound there. But this fun clip of Joe Burrow talking about some fun Eagle stuff here. Hold on one second. Here we go.
Oh, Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. Let's go back here.
In that game, 2020. We tied. It wasn't very fun.
Are you good? I was thinking about this. Are you kind of upset that Fletcher Cox isn't playing anymore?
I can't say that. No, he's a great player. Always was. Always disruptive. So I'm glad he's retired.
But is there a part of you that you wanted to kind of...
So he pretty much, that was really what I wanted to show you. He told the reporter he's happy that
Fletcher Cox is no longer
retired.
playing. I saw the headline for it. Yeah. All right.
man.
Well, there you go. Yeah, it's it'll be one of these. You're waiting for the game to start. Like, all right, like not necessarily
Pacing a little
excited
bit.
for the game, but waiting for the game to start. A nervous energy. That's how I feel about it.
I know, man. It's just this team. It just feels like, especially like this week, like the Bengals aren't like what we thought they would be, and this feels like it should be a much simpler game. But you just never know. And Joe Burrow on the other side gives the Bengals a chance every week, but they have their own issues. We have our issues. This could be a sloppy game now that I think about it.
That's kind of what I'm expecting.
Oh my god.
The Bengals this year have beat the Browns 21-14. We know the Browns suck. Beat the Giants 17-7. We know they suck. So the last two games against bad teams, the offense has struggled. They put up 38 points against the Ravens. That was a game they should have won. They let the Ravens get back in the game. They scored 33 against the Commanders. We'll see this
And
week.
the Bengals don't have a good defense either.
Nope. But
Eesh.
it's week to week with the Eagles.
You
Some
should-
week it's like, wow, look at this great defensive young front. Quinyon Mitchell. And then next week they're getting boat raced.
Well, someone in that comment section on that tweet that I just showed said, well, now Jalen Carter is on his way.
Right. I was thinking the same thing where it's like Fletcher's gone, but that disruptor in the middle now is Jalen Carter. See Black Gritty sitting out in our green room. Gritty, you going with Ant today? Is that what you're doing here? Oh, coming in studio. Black Gritty.
Where is he at?
Oh, he's over there.
Oh, what's up, brother? How you doing? Oh, dude, it's cold out these days, man. It's football weather.
Black Gritty, the cheap seats with E-Rock and Jason Ashworth.
Dude, great show.
Yeah, there won't be
They're
a
great
camera for
guys.
you, but he's in here. What's up, Black Gritty? You know, just on in these streets. Where'd you park? Because they took our lot away from us today.
Right across the street. I'm right at the edge of the lot, man. I saw it 4 times. I'm like, sharp.
No.
He didn't battle the Big Ten network like John and I did.
Yeah, I'm going to go outside and see what's going on here. By the way, shout out to our diehards out
best,
there.
dude. The best.
What's up, diehards? You're the best. All PHLY.com to be a diehard, to get the newsletter, the Rich Hoffman Jr. So there you go.
So as a parent, do you get any fun this weekend? I know you got cheerleading and stuff like that.
No. Do I get... I just hope that like my wife and I aren't fighting all weekend
My God.
is what makes the... Well, I mean, you know, like, so we have my youngest has dance, and then we have cheerleading at the same time, and then we have a game at the same time. So I don't think the baby's going to be able to go to dance because we have to divide and conquer. We have that and we have that at the same time. So cheerleading, she cheers on the football team. So it's like second grade has a football team, so they have a cheerleading squad that goes with it. So she's got to go cheer.
Parenting's like being a coach, man. You got to have a game plan for the week.
And then on Sunday, we have a basketball clinic. Yeah, double basketball clinic back to back, 9 a.m. and then 11 a.m.
Do you get like a brewski in some point?
I'm not a big drinker.
Okay,
No.
that's good.
No, there's no brewski. There's no fun.
I do like
There's no fun.
my occasional beer on a Friday, Saturday night.
Hey, most people do. I don't take a lot of enjoyment from life, just so you know. Yeah. I get drunk with seltzers on the beach, yes. I drink high noons on the beach. I'm drunk by 9 a.m.
Ain't no laws when you drink White Claws, Johnny.
Yeah, and you know what? In Pennsylvania now, you can buy the high noons in the used to just be the state stores. Now you can buy the high noons in the supermarket, in the grocery stores.
The concept that you can buy like a beer in a gas station or like a Walmart or something like that, it's crazy to me because I live in Jersey and like we have to go to an actual liquor store to buy our alcohol, which sucks. Or you can go to like a dive bar. They'll have like the packaged goods as they call it. That's all I got.
The White Claws now that used to be, because so at like Wegmans where I'll get a 12-pack of something, they can only sell White Claws. They couldn't sell High Noons because that's
higher.
vodka, it's spirits.
Yeah.
Now they can sell High Noons. Nobody buys the White Claws anymore because the High Noons are better.
Dude,
So
High
it's
Noons are
killing the
awesome.
claw.
I like a seltzer. I'm more of a beer guy, but I like the seltzer. It's nice and light. You get the job done.
Well, yeah, you probably like Miller Lite or Coors Light, but are you like an IPA guy, a snooty beer guy?
I actually am not really. Honestly, I'm more of a lager guy. I like my lagers, like Stella's, Modelo. Those are my beer choice. I'll do an IPA. I'll do one though. I can't do more than one. That's all.
He's an old soul.
Old
JP,
soul, man.
for sure. All right. Well, Black Rudy's going on with Ant, so switch over and check out the Anthony Gargano show. We'll be back with Eagles reaction on Monday. Hopefully it's after a big win. Shout out to everybody that's watching live on YouTube and commenting in the section. We appreciate you. And everybody that's watching and listening, the podcast is going up. JP works on that right now. So the audio version podcast available every day shortly after 9 o'clock. Everybody have a good weekend. We'll talk to you at 8 a.m. on Monday. See you.
See you.
We all silly like the mayor.